You are listening to The Objective Jerk, and I am said jerk. What's up? How's everybody doing? Hope everybody is well. Yeah, Trump kicking some ass, liberals crying about everything, of course. What are you gonna do, right? Man, I got updates, man, on the phone. So I got an update for the new version, whatever the crap, I don't know, the other day. And it's now giving me alerts that my volume is too loud on my phone. And it's like, fuck you. I know how loud I want to listen to it. You know, it's like I can't hear, like, fuck off. You know what I mean? My hearing is not the greatest, you know, being throughout the years, shooting this and that, loud stuff. And I know that. And I try to be, you know, when I use tools and certain things, I wear protective and this and that. But when I, you know, listen to my music, shut the fuck up. Damn, said the F word. I love the F word though, man. It's hard for me to not do it. But I don't know, I gotta see if maybe I can change the sound. Because I'll be at the gym, and so I have my headphones on, and then my phone is in my bag. So I'll be, you know, working out, and I hear a bleep bleep. And I don't get a whole lot of messages and this and that. Generally, when I do, it's, you know, my GC, my family GC, or my wife or something. So when it does it, I'm like, oh crap, let me see. And usually it's the wife, whatever, this and that. So, but lately it's that stupid notification. Oh, your headphones are loud. It's like, man, shut up. It's annoying. And I can't turn it off, I don't think. I've tried. I don't know, I'll have to look into it. But I got to change the tone of it, the alert sound or something, so I know what it is. Because it is frustrating. It's annoying. I hate technology. I really do. Like, I love the fact that I can wear some headphones that are wireless to my phone. You know, like, I like that aspect of it. Like, that's cool. But in the end, technology sucks. I don't know. So yeah, so what's up? I think I took some notes. Took some bullet notes to kind of keep me in line. Because the thing, like, I'll sit there and I'll be talking to myself or thinking about something, and I'm like, okay, this is something I want to talk about for the podcast. But by the time I get my apps open and everything's set up, it's like I've thought about it, what I would say. Like I can't, if I could just shut my brain down and wait for the stuff to turn on and then talk about it. Does that make sense? Like, my computer, piece of shit Apple Mac, takes forever to open up apps. And so by the time I get everything open and set up, it's just, I've already kind of thought and talked about it in my head. So it's like, you know, I don't know. Yeah. I saw this post because I wanted to see what people were saying. Bullshit that, God, so much is just fake rage bait. It really is. It's kind of annoying. I wish it would just more genuine people on social media, but it's just not the case. But I did, I got on to see what people were saying about Trump and Venezuela, or whatever. And I saw a clip. It was like a video, and it was showing, you know, Vietnam stuff, them burning a village and this and that. And he's like, see, I can't remember what it was, but it was like, in the movies they're always portrayed as heroes, but they, you know, whatever, this and that. And I'm sitting there thinking, what Vietnam movies are you watching, dude? I can't even think of a Vietnam movie that did not show some of the horrendous or bad or nasty shit that was the Vietnam War. You know what I mean? Like, every the only movie that I could think of where it shows the soldiers as, you know, all knowing and all great, and you know, is like Tropic Thunder. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. Like, what is this guy? I gotta adjust my thing. Hold on a second. This little thing that keeps my. All right. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, every movie, Full Metal Jacket, Apocalypse Now, Platoon, Hamburger Hill, um, Casualties of War. I mean, all of them. You know what I mean? So it's like either the guy's an idiot or he's rage baiting. You know? And it's like it's not like American soldiers. Were there some American soldiers that took advantage of the situation and murdered people and did things? Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, there's proof of it. You know, but I think it's more sick the people that sent the soldiers there in the first place, the fucking politicians. Suck a dick. And that's the thing is like, so you see all these wars for Vietnam and then Iraq. Oh, we got to get Saddam. Let's get Saddam, even though it's for oil or whatever. But he's got weapons of mass destruction, and you know, 8 years later, all kinds of death, whatever, this and that. And then Trump, Venezuela, overnight. Nobody knows a thing. No casualties, no nothing. Out. Done. Oh, I thought there was no more wars. It's not a war, dude. How is it a war when Special Forces goes in, grabs a guy, and leaves? Like Batman in the Dark Knight. You know what I mean? Like what kind of what would you look up what the definition of war is? You dumb fuck. But yeah, and then Venezuela. I'm not saying that like I don't know. It's okay, cool. You know, the guy was a douche. The Venezuelan people are happy, and you know this is going to create some economic growth. Whoa, what was that? Dude, this thing is so jacked. Okay, I moved my audio jack, but it's gonna do some audio. You know, some. It's gonna be good for America, but it's like, you know, and I'm cool with it, but it's like, okay, let's focus on all the dipshit corruption people in the states, you know, all the corrupt judges that allow Somalis to have all these fake daycares and collecting all these benefits. They stopped all the federal funding for, I think they did it for the whole country, which they should really. They need to stop it and let people reapply and have somebody, you know, actually verify that it's all legit and everything. That's what they need to do. I know it's going to suck for some people for a little bit, but that's what you got to do when you reset. You know, when you reset your computer, you got to stop everything. You got to wait. You got to reopen all your apps. You know, it's like there's so much, dude. And it's not just Minnesota, man. Come on. If you think it's just Minnesota, you're retarded. It's all over. All over. And there's probably Republicans taking advantage of it too, you know? And that's why libtards are upset about this Venezuelan thing, because they're mad because there is no war. They're like, oh, I thought there was no more wars. But they want a war so they can make money. Politicians make money off of war, you know? And because they invest in companies that supply various needs for the war and they make money. But they don't get to do that because Trump just went in overnight, got him, and got out. So that's awesome, I think. Like, how is that? I don't know. That's the thing is like, you have some people just argue. It's just that, you know, Trump could personally cure cancer and they still would be like, I would rather have cancer. You know, it's just like, these people are just sick in the head, man. And they're the same people that are getting pissed off about corruption being, you know, outed and finding out. It's like they're more mad about that than the fact that these people are stealing millions of dollars from you, from us, from everybody, you know, the taxpayers. And it's just ridiculous, man. It is ridiculous. It's getting, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's like we went back. You know, I've said it before, is like people were, for at least, I mean, because I don't care. I mean, if people say I'm a bigot now, I don't care. It doesn't, the word holds no water anymore. Just like Nazi, racist, none of it matters anymore, because everything, this little pill, this bottle of Advil on my shelf is racist because I own it or something. You know what I mean? It's like it's retarded. And so none of those words hold any water anymore. Nobody cares. Call me a bigot, call me a racist. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything. But the thing is it's kind of, it's happening though, because early 2000s, man, nobody really cared about race. People were gay. It might have been a little shocking, but nobody really cared, you know? Now, because of so much of just all the, all the gayness all over the place. All the, oh, racism, all this stuff just for the last 10 years for sure, just nonstop. It's turning people homophobic and racist and bigot. You know what I mean? Like people are because it's almost like they want it to. That we were heading in the right path, and then Obama, man, it all started when Obama became president. If you think about it, it's kind of crazy. Obama bin Laden. Obama bin Laden. I used to think he was a cool president, man. But that's when I didn't really follow politics or didn't care. I remember when he got reelected. I think. Was it when he got reelected? When was this? So this was about, when did he get elected? No, he got elected in 2008. So yeah, it was his first term. And I remember many people were like, hated it. And I was just like, man, give him a chance, whatever. I didn't really follow politics or nothing then. I mean, I still kind of feel that way, but yeah, he was a douchebag anyway. What's funny though is I came to like a realization. I came to I realized something. So, I don't like to give out too much information on myself, but it's kind of hard to. Anyway, so after the Army, not right after, but a little bit after the Army, I worked for the Army as a civilian police officer. And then after a few years of that, I was starting to take classes in college, and I thought that schedule, because it was like 12-hour shifts, it would have worked though. Once I switched, I realized I should have just stayed on patrol. But anyway, I wanted to work normal, like business hours, Monday through Friday, whatever. So I got a job in supply for the police detachment that I was assigned to, and arms room. So like I would help with the arms room sometimes. I worked for, and I liked it at first, but there was every year for like 2 weeks, we would basically quit working, and then all the MPs had to cover. So we worked with MPs to, work the road and everything. So the whole DA police thing started when, the war was going and they needed they needed soldiers to be deployed. So, and you got to have law enforcement still so they got, civilian police to work with the MPs. And, so that's what, was going on. So, but for the annual training that was like 2 weeks, then MPs had to cover down, and it was nothing but civilian or nothing but MPs working the road, and then we were all doing our annual training and whatever. So during that year's annual training, when I was in the arms room or supply, I was actually, so I had the keys. So you had to sign for the keys for the arms room. And we were all there. So all the armors, the guys that worked nights, whatever, we were all in the arms room doing, the annual maintenance training, whatever, for the arms room. But I had the keys, I assigned for the keys. Well, I had to take a dump, right? So instead of getting everybody out, locking everything up, doing everything, signing everything, I just handed my keys to the other armor, and I went and took a dump. I came back, And then in between that time, the guy who was my like, I guess my he was the arms room supervisor. So I had like two supervisors because I worked for supply and I worked for, or maybe was he? I can't remember. But anyway, so this dude who, he was in the army, he retired. I don't think he did dick as far as actual combat or anything. He's one of those guys. But so because I left the arms room unsecured because I was signed for the keys, I got like written up for that. And I was just like, what? And like no warning. It's not like I did it before or did whatever. It was just like immediately. And I was just like, I never understood what the hell until recently, right? So let me finish this, I guess. So that happened, and then I went to the union, and they were like, "Yeah, this is kind of jacked up." So she went and talked, and basically the write up only stayed at Fort Polk. So, and it was only for like, I don't know, it would stay on my record for like a year or 2 years or something. So, but if I wanted to apply for another job at Fort Polk, they could look at my record and see that I was written up, and it might affect me, getting a job or whatever. But it didn't follow me. So if I went to another installation, it wasn't there. So I ended up, I was kind of thinking about leaving anyway, but that really kind of helped. So I left, went to one of my home states, Utah, worked there, which was probably my favorite job. Actually, it was the best job for my personality and my, I don't know. Anyway, so I never understood, like, I was just like, what the crap? I thought the guy liked me. I work, I'm a good worker, dude. I'm a hard worker. And, I'm always trying to make sure I do it the very best I can. So I was just like, what? I don't understand why this guy just immediately went to a write up instead of like, yo, yo, yo. Maybe that's a rule. It's kind of, I don't know, it's a little anal, but okay. If he would have been like, hey, don't do that. Don't, you sign for the keys, you got, then so, okay, cool. And then next time, if I did it, then it's like, okay, I'm writing you up. You know what I mean? But it just immediately, it was written up, and I was just like, what the crap, dude? I never understood it. But it kind of hit me though, because I remember that time. I remember actually, I don't know how I ended up. So I got a ride from him. I was walking, or what was going on? I can't remember why I was walking. But I was walking to work, I think. But I don't remember why. But so he picked me up in his new truck. I just remember it was new. And you know how seats have like the heated seats? Well, these seats had like cooling seats, so it'd get the seat cool. And he talked about Obama and stuff. And, at that time I didn't really follow politics. I was just like, well, give him a chance, whatever, this and that, who knows, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't have, oh, well, Democrats are better for economy and Republicans are better for, foreign, whatever. I don't know, whatever my, retarded, unknown opinions were. But I just remember it wasn't, I didn't really care too much. And so I'm like, you know what? He probably was very, very conservative, hated, and he thought like maybe I liked Obama or something. So then he just kind of like, oh, this guy's a douche. That's the only thing I can think of why he would do that, See, so conservatives can be dickheads too, It's not just liberals, but yeah, I wonder what's up with that dude now. I don't care. But but yeah, so I eventually started following politics, and it all started with Trump though, because I was gonna vote. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna vote because I never voted before. Because I was, I didn't want to register because I wasn't planning on living in Louisiana for very long, or I was in the army. You can do, ballot, whatever, but it didn't care. And then when I started to care, it just wasn't convenient so to speak, you know. And I was like, I want to vote for my home. So once I was actually I was this so I was in Washington by this time, which is the primary place where I grew up, and I was registered. You know, I was actually walking out of Walmart, and people are there like, "Hey, are you registered to vote? You registered to vote?" They probably didn't realize that I was going to vote for Trump. But I was like, oh yeah, you know what? I should register. So I did. And then so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna vote this year. We're settled down. I'm home basically. I'm gonna vote. And I remember going through Washington State, everything, and reading. You know, I didn't care red or blue. It was just like what they were talking about, what their platform was, and that's how I voted. And then with the president, it was like I did not like Hillary. I thought she was a cunt, you know. And I remember like, man, Trump though. I mean, he's Trump. You know, you're fired. You know, and I was just like, I don't know. And my wife, who, at the time was not a U.S. citizen, but she had her, she was a legal immigrant. She was working towards her citizenship, but she didn't have it yet. And she was like, you better vote for Trump. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, yeah, okay, cool. So I did. And then once he was president and I just saw like all the people that used to suck his dick and oh yeah, that all of a sudden just they all hated him and he's evil, and I'm like, what is going on? That's when I first kind of started noticing like, what? And I started following, which I kind of wish I didn't. And it just snowballed from there. I just started seeing more and more of the idiocracy that is the Democrat Party, their arguments and their bitches and complaints, and I'm just like, what? That makes no sense. What are you talking about? And and then COVID was just the icing, man. I was like, this is retarded, and they were all pushing for it, and I'm just like, dude, what the hell? And the shots and all that kind of crap. So that's when I became a conservative. Really, I considered myself a conservative because the Democrats are just psychotic, and they're Republicans too, man. They're just all about the money. And it's just, I don't know. It sucks. It really does. And it's the same here in the Philippines. It's different. I think I've talked about it before, but they have the same kind of crap. Like, so the mayor of the city that I live in, so his run was over, but then his son ran, and then he ran. So the mayor, the guy that was mayor last time is now vice mayor, and his son is mayor. It's like, come on, dude, you're mayor still. This is retarded. You should not be able to do that. You should not be able to run. If you hold office for anything, you should not be able to run for anything. To be a principal, or I don't know, immediately after. It should be after the next. I mean, you don't run for principal, but you know what I'm saying. Just something that you should not be able to run immediately after. You should have to hold out for the next term or whatever, Term limits, dude. It has to happen. I mean, we're starting to, states is getting rid of some of the dipshits, but man, after 30 years, really, And then after, what is it, like 2 years, they're set for life, basically. I don't know. It's just, they don't care about the people, the country. They just care about their bank account, man. I don't know. That's why I liked Trump, man. He had his bank account. He didn't care. You couldn't buy him, You can't buy a billionaire. So for him, it was about, he wanted to be looked at as the best president. He wanted his face on Mount Rushmore, which they should not do. I think that Mount Rushmore needs to stay as it is. They can figure out something else. But I think he deserves it, man. Look at the stuff he's done. He is gonna be. It's liberals will never admit it. Like the hardcore TDS liberals will never admit it. But 10 years from now, the people that don't like him will kind of be like, you know what, he was a good president. I didn't like the guy, blah blah blah, but he got the country back on track. Watch, it'll happen. And then they can do something. Like, I guess he changed the Kennedy Center though with the Trump. I don't agree with that. I didn't really look in to see if how true and what exactly the details of that are, but I did read that somewhere or hear that somewhere that the Kennedy Center, it was like the Trump Kennedy Senator or Center or Kennedy Trump Center or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're just trolling with that, but it's like, yeah, I like the pictures of the presidents in the White House, and he's got the little plaques talking shit. I think that's hilarious. I don't care about that. That's fine. It's funny. But yeah, like the Kennedy Center, leave it as it is. That'd be almost like removing Lincoln from the Lincoln Monument and putting Trump on there or something like that. It's like, man, don't do that shit. He can have his own monument. I think he deserves it after the shit presidents that we've had, and for all the stuff that he's been doing. But he's got to do it right, though. I don't know. Anyway, that's it. I just kind of wanted to discuss that. God, I didn't even really discuss it, right? Did I talk about Venezuelan people all happy and American flags and all this stuff, But liberals were like, oh. But it's like Venezuela has more American pride than Americans do. It's sickening. Anyway, that's it. Uh, Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate your time. God bless, and I'll see you next time. All right.